In this video, we will learn LWC to Aura communication using Lightning Message Service. So in the previous video, we already have seen how we have used Lightning Message Service to communicate from one Lightning Web Component to another Lightning Web Component. So in this video, we'll see how we can communicate from one Lightning Web Component to another Aura component. And in between these components, we don't have any relationship. So it means both components are independent. We already know we can embed the Lightning Web component inside the Aura component, and with that composition we can transfer the data. But in this specific use case, we don't have any relationship. So for that use case, we're gonna use Lightning Message Service. So let's go and create a Aura component first. So I'm in my VS Code. I'll type Aura, select the option create Aura component. I'll give the component name LMS Aura component. And now my Aura component is ready. So before writing anything, let's expose this component to our Lightning page. For that, we'll add the implements, and that is flexi page available for all page types. We have to add this. You can say this component access is global. So the initial step is done, the Aura component. Now let's go and follow the step to use the Lightning Message Service in this. So the first step is to add a Lightning Message Channel component to our Aura component. So in our previous video, we already set up the message channel. So message channel name is Lightning Message Channel. So we have to set up this Lightning Message Channel in our Aura component. And for that, we already have a tag called Lightning Message Channel. This will take a couple of attributes. The first attribute is the type of the channel. So we have to define that channel type. So our channel name is sample message channel _ C, and its type. Then after that, we have to define its scope, and its scope is application level. Then apart from that, this message channel we have to pass an ID that we will use in a minute. So I'm giving an ID as sample message channel only, and to receive the data, there is an attribute on this message channel that is called on message. So whenever somebody passes the message, this message handler gets called up, will listen the message. So in Aura, we already know to create a method, we use c.handle message. This is how we call the method in Aura. And now we'll go to the JS file and create the handle message. So here in the folder, you can see there will be a controller file. I'll remove everything from here, and I'll create a method handle message. This is a function that will take component and message. Component is just the instance of this particular Aura component, and message is the message that is coming from another component, whoever publishing the message. That is our first thing. The second thing what we want is to publish the message from here as well. For that, what we're gonna do is we'll create a lightning card in our component, and I'll say title LMS Aura component. Within this card, we're gonna add some padding around of medium size. This is the standard way of designing our page usually. So we give the card, we give some padding, and then we'll create a label. say the publish message. Apart from that, we can create a input field here. Let's use input HTML input. I'll say input type equal to text. Then I'll say ID. I'll give this ID to the field message input, and we can give name message input. Then we can give a class to the field, that is SLDS input. Apart from that, we can give a value, and we'll pass this value in a minute. Then we'll say on key up when we start typing in this field. Call the method, and we'll give the method name here. We'll say c.in handler. This method gets called up when we start typing in this input field, and let's close the input field. Let's go and create the input handler, our controller. So I'll create another method input handler, that will be also a function component and event. There should be a comma after this. The input handler receive component and the event, and what we want is event will receive the event.target.value, that is the message that we are typing. Event.target.value. So that's the message that we type in our component, and what I want is that value to be stored and the attributes. So let's create some attributes on the top that we're going to use here, and we use aura attribute tag to add an attribute to the component, and these property whatever we use with the attribute help us in data binding. So let's create two properties here. So first is aura attribute. I'll give the property name message value, we initialize it with the type string, and the other one I want is aura attribute name message received. So in this property we're gonna store the value that we will receive from the other component, and here we'll say type string as well. Based on your need, you can change to number or boolean. So message value is a property that will store the value that we type in the input field, and to store that we'll say component dot set v dot your property name, and which to this property which value you want to set, we'll say event.target.value. So it will set our value what are we are typing, and in the input field we will add that as a value. So we'll say use value of message value. So that is our first thing. We create the card, we set the input field. Now whatever we have typed inside the input field, we want to send or publish it on click of a button. So what we're gonna do is we'll create another div with the padding, and we'll create a lightning button, and on this button we'll say on click of this button call a method. We already know to call a method. We could say exclamation c dot, and we'll create a method name publish message. I'm giving the publish message as my method name, and in the button I'll say publish, and I'll go to the controller and create this method. I'll say function component, and I need only component here in this case, and we'll write our logic to publish the message here. So let's go to a slide and see how we publish the message. And to publish the message, you need the step 3. To publish a message, you need to find the reference of the message channel and call the publish method by passing the payload. So you need to first call your message channel. So message channel we define at the step number 1, in which we given the Aura ID. So we'll say component.find and give the Aura ID. It's similar to a in Lightning Web Component we do this dot template dot query selector. In Aura we use component.find with the ID, and we will call a publish method of this Lightning message channel and pass the message. Okay, so let's go and create the publish message. So first I'll say what is the message that I want to publish, right? So I have to create the message as well. So I'll say let message equal to, now we already know we are using a message channel sample message, and in the sample message we already define a field property that we're going to use for sending the message, that is LMS data. So we need this name. Come back here to our controller and I'll say LMS data should have a value and the message, and from where I'll get this message, we already set this to a message value attribute, so we need to get that as well. So I'll say let message equal to component dot get v dot message value. So we are calling this attribute and fetching its value, and we are assigning it to a value attribute. Now our message is ready that we want to pass. Now we need to call the publish method, and publish method we can only call from our Lightning message channel. And in Lightning message channel, if we have to call its instance, what we have to do is we need to call component dot find, then your Aura ID. Aura ID is our sample message channel, it gives that reference, and on this we'll say publish, call our publish method, and in publish you have to pass the message that you want to pass. So here we'll pass the message. So this is the flow of your publish. So I'll repeat it again. We have created a card. In the card we have a input field. Whatever we type in the input field, it will call the input handler. Input handler will receive the message whatever you are typing and storing in a property message value. And after this input field we have a button. On click of that button, first we will fetch the value that we have stored in the message value. We'll store it in a message. Then we'll construct the message structure, and LMS data is the field that we have described in our message channel, and then we'll pass that message by calling the publish method. And this method is already available on the Lightning message channel, and to call it programmatically, what we are doing is first we are calling the instance of that message channel and then calling the publish method on that instance and passing the message. So this is the first flow in which we are able to publish the message. Now we want to receive the message as well, and for receiving the message, in our component we already says on message, whenever somebody sends the message, call the handle message. And to handle the message, I'll go to the slide. That is my second step. I didn't write the full code while I was writing the handle message because I want to explain first publish, then talk about the subscription of the message. So in the controller we define the handle message. It will receive component and message. So first we will check whether the message is not null. If message is not null, go to the message and get the parameter LMS data and check if it is not null. If it is not null, we will take that value and store into a message received attribute. So we already create the message received attribute. So let's go and implement this as well. In the handle message, what we can do is we'll say if message is there or not. So to check that, we'll say message not equal to null. Then we'll check if message is passed and message has get param, and that get param has a property LMS data, because LMS data is the field that everybody should send if they want to communicate on a simple message channel. We'll say if that is not equal to null, then what you do is should be not equal to null, then to component dot set We'll call the attribute v dot, the attribute that we have created here on the top, message received. Say once the data comes, update the value, and value is message dot get param dot LMS data dot value. So under the LMS we have a value property. Everybody will follow the same structure. So it will pass, and once the data received, what we're gonna do is we're gonna print it on the screen. So we'll go to a component and we'll say I'll create another div with the padding around medium, and I'll say within the h1 tag I'll create strong tag as well inside message received, and below this I'll create a lightning format text, and in this I'll bind that value that is coming, and to bind that we have to call that attribute with a permission v dot message received. So now our Aura component is ready, that has the power of lightning message channel that will receive on a handle message and publish the message on click of the publish message button. And now we already implemented in the previous video our lightning web component that has the LMS power, and in previous video we created two lightning message component A and component X, and the component A we said it will publish the message and component X will receive the message. So now when we place our Aura component on the screen, whenever you publish something from Aura component, our component X will listen. Whenever our component A will publish, our Aura component as well as X will listen. So let's deploy this component, that is our Aura component, and it throws an error because that lightning format text is not closed. This and deploy this again. So now it's deployed. Let's go to our app. And I'm in our app lightning messaging service page. So in previous video we created two component as I explained earlier. So component A and component X, both are lightning web component. In the same page we're gonna place our Aura component. So let's edit the page and search for our component name, MS Aura component, place it in the center. And what we can do is we can bring back our component X just below the component A. So now on the left hand side we have both lightning web component, in the center we have Aura component. Let's hit save and go back. So let's pass some data. So whenever I pass some data, my Aura component should be able to listen it, because all three components are using the sample message channel. So let me publish hello from LWC. So now you see, as soon as I click publish, my X component who is subscribing to this message, it's printing the message, and Aura component also receive the message and print the message hello from LWC. Now if I pass the message from Aura, so I'll say hello from Aura. Now we are publishing a message from our Aura component, and now this component is publishing subscribing to the message channel. So here now it should print hello from Aura as soon as I click on publish button. So now I'll click publish. Now you can see immediately my Aura component can able to communicate with the lightning web component, and it's updating the messages. So it's syncing the message at all the channel, whichever channel or whichever component are listening to this message channel. So that's how we communicate between lightning web component to Aura component, or Aura component to lightning component using lightning message service. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.